So hello everyone, my name is Jason. I'm a Course in Miracles student and a channeler. And nice to meet you, nice to see you again. Today I'd like to come on and do some channeling and talk a little bit about the Course in Miracles. Before I begin, I just want to tell you I have 2 books that are available below. And I have a membership site if you are interested, where we have 2 Q&A channelings a month, plus a sound healing that is related to the energies of that month. So all the details are below. And also I'd like to give a shout out to Maria, who has started her new business. She has a quantum healing business, and so I recommend taking a session with her. She's really amazing. Okay, so let's begin today. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the Course in Miracles, and I was reading a lesson a few days ago, and they mentioned something about repertoire, like keeping these things in your repertoire. So the Course in Miracles is it's a mind training program. So we are trying to untrain our mind from the way that we've been trained in our society for the longest time, and training ourselves more into the idea of love. So, and I thought this idea of having a repertoire was a really, really good idea. Now, there's 356 lessons, plus there's a whole bunch, like 400 or so other pages of text. So it's a lot of stuff to keep in your mind. But what tends to happen, at least for me, is that when I'm in different situations, certain lessons will pop up and I'll think, yes, this. And so that's what they mean by the repertoire. So I just wanted to bring up like 3 lessons right now that have been coming up a lot for me as my repertoire, or my arsenal, or as my Australian friend always says, my arsenal. So let's see. Hold on. So here we go. Now, the first one is Lesson 76, which says, I am under no laws but God's. So here we go. And let me read. There are no laws except the laws of God. This needs repeating over and over until you realize it applies to everything that you have made in opposition to God's will. Your magic has no meaning. What it is meant to save does not exist. Only what it is meant to hide will save you. We will begin the longer practice periods today with a short review of the different kinds of laws we have believed we must obey. These would include, for example, the laws of nutrition, of immunization, of medication, and of the body's protection in innumerable ways. Think further. You believe in the laws of friendship, of good relationships, and reciprocity. Perhaps you even think that there are laws which set forth what is God's and what is yours. Many religions have been based on this. They would not save but damn in heaven's name. Yet they are no more strange than other laws you hold must be obeyed to make you safe. Let's see. You really think you would starve unless you have stacks of green paper strips and piles of metal discs. You really think a small round pellet of some fluid pushed into your veins through a sharpened needle will ward off disease and death. You really think you are alone unless another body is with you. So this one's very applicable to the time that we are living in at the moment. I find it also, very applicable. For me, I always kind of turn to all kinds of herbal remedies or just to vitamins and these kind of things. If I'm not feeling up to par, I got to take lots of vitamin C, I got to take some zinc, I got to, and all this kind of stuff. It's just magic. It doesn't exist. The only way to heal your body is with your mind. Your mind is what created it in the first place. And so the Course in Miracles is all about realizing what your mind is creating, that you are creating all these things. You don't need vitamin C. You don't need anything. You probably don't even need food. Maybe we do for the time being, because we still believe in it, but that's what we believe. So that is a very entrenched belief. But all of these things, the only law that we're under is God's law, which is the law of love, which means we are loved and we love everyone. And this leads into the next one that I wanted to share. I place the future in the hands of God. Lesson 194. The past is gone, the future is not yet. Now I am freed from both. For what God gives can only be for good, and I accept but what he gives as what belongs to me. So this is, we often worry about the future. What's going to happen? Or we dwell on the past. I can't believe this happened. I can't believe I did this, or whatever it is. But they don't exist. They don't exist. And according to the Course in Miracles, when we think about these things, our minds are blank. We're not thinking about anything. We're not even there. So that's kind of a wake-up call. So thinking about the future, worrying about the future, it's going to work out. Everything's going to be perfectly fine. What we should be worrying about is right now. Are we here? Are we actually experiencing whatever it is we're experiencing? Are the wind, the snow, the rain, the heat, the coldness, the love, the fear? But are we experiencing right now? And so that is. So yes, I place the future in the hands of God. And again, just as a side note about I place the future in the hands of God, whenever you're worried about something, I place the future in the hands of God. Now, what was I going to say about that? Place the future in the hands of God. This doesn't mean that you just kind of, sit around and think, I don't know what's going to happen. It's cool. It's not that kind of vibe. It's more of you will be guided into the places that you need to go, so it's important to listen. And when you listen, you will be given those messages. Maybe there'll just be this website that keeps popping up on your YouTube feed, or just someone keeps telling you this certain word. Many people, this word starts popping up. It's a message somehow. And so that is the message. And so God is giving you the message, showing you the way to go. And then you can use your power of manifestation to create that in your mind, using all of the tools that we have available now in our world. So that's that one. And then the other in the arsenal is lesson 193. All things are lessons God would have me learn. And each lesson that you see, the lesson is forgiveness. So and the idea is forgive, and you will see this differently. And I will forgive, and this will disappear. So these 3 lessons. And then one other lesson I think is really, really helpful, I've always thought, is I don't know what anything is for. And so everything is for our own interests. That's what it's for. That's its purpose. That's what it means. It's in recognizing this that your goals become unified. It's in recognizing this that what you see is given meaning. So those, I think, are really, really good lessons. Let me just review. I am under no laws but God's. I place the future in the hands of God, and all things, lessons are God's. All things are lessons God would have me learn, and I don't know what anything is for. These 4 lessons, at least for me at this moment, are really, really good, and they come in handy. For example, when you're right now too, I guess the energy is kind of increasing. There's a bit of the fear energy kind of entering the world, and you can see it affecting people if you go into crowds and stuff. You can pick up on it too. It's just all around, that kind of energy. And rather than picking it up, for example, and feeling sad, or picking it up and feeling angry, like why is everyone putting out this negative energy, another way is just to use these lessons. And then plus the one lesson that I'd like to use, it's not from the Course in Miracles, but it's extrapolated, is that everyone's my family. So when you look, for example, for me on a crowded train, and there's a bit of anger and aggression that you can feel, you can't really see, it's not necessarily in the eyes, but it's in the air. And people are just picking up on that fear energy that they're being fed from all of the systems that we have that feed us fear. But what you do is you just think about everyone's my family. So I think I talked about this before. So like, that guy could be my dad, or that woman could be my sister, that could be my daughter, that could be my son. That could be my grandmother. That's my uncle. If you see everyone in that way, then it really changes the way. So you feel compassion for all of them. They must be going through a lot of stuff right now. And then once you get into that mode of kind of compassion, using those lessons and using this idea that everyone's your family, then you can start using, for example, I always use Michael's sword. I talked about this technique a long time ago, but so all of us have a sword. It's like the sword of Excalibur. And so all you have to do is use the sword. You grab onto the sword. First you talk to Michael about it, Archangel Michael, or whoever you'd like to talk to about it. Whoever you feel comfortable talking about your sword with. But so I always talk to Archangel Michael about it. And if you're ready to hold the sword yourself, he will just give it to you. And then he'll kind of be your teacher for a while to show you how to use it. And if you're not ready, he will help you. He will use his sword. You can use his sword with him together. You can kind of collaborate. And what I do is I just use my sword to shoot this energy out throughout the train. And it just from your heart, it just expands. And you use your sword. Your sword, it kind of looks like a lightsaber from Star Wars, if you've ever watched that. It's just like a thing that you hold, and then there's just this light, and that's your light. And you just kind of spread that light out onto the train and everywhere. And it just, you can feel the energy shift and change. So I really recommend this, especially now in these heightened times, that times where the energy is kind of a little bit, people who might not be aware of what's really going on tend to kind of just take in this fear without even realizing that they don't have to. They can just let it go, and that there's nothing to be afraid of, and that there's no laws but God's, and all these kind of things. But if you are aware and if you have these lessons, it can really help you and also help all the people around you, because you are all one and you're all connected. That is also the beauty, I think, of the Course in Miracles, is that it's not about just helping you, it's about helping everyone, because once you create this energy, it's infectious. It goes out into the world and into the morphogenic field, and you can, and that's the whole idea. You can change the world, you can save the world. And while that is a term that most people think is has a lot of hubris, right? Very egotistical word, it is the complete opposite, because it is true, and you can save the world, and you are the salvation of the world, just by being you, and just by you being in peace, being in love, and showing your love. I mean, that's all you need to do, and that's how you can save the world. It's pretty easy, right? Well, my long spiel about the Course in Miracles. Now, what I'd like to do today is two things I'd like to channel. Well, three maybe. Two. One is about the energies that are happening now on our planet, and the other is I want to channel Bach, the Baroque composer. So I'll start with the energies that are going around the world right now. Greetings, we are Tiamat, and we are here, and we haven't been here for a while, but we've come back to say hello and to show our love for all of you. We love you so much, and we're so happy that you are joining us on this journey with this being and with me and with all of you together. This is a wonderful time on your planet, when people are finally coming together, not coming together for the ideas of this matrix box, but coming together with ideas of love, coming together in love, with no, you might say, ulterior motives, but the motive of love, and to give love. So that we're coming with the ulterior motive of love. Because the more love you give, the more love you get. The more love you extend, the more love comes back to you. By giving, you receiving all of these wonderful lessons that this being is learning from the Course in Miracles, which are the universal laws. That is how this world works, and that is also how this universe works. So about the energies, yes, that are on your planet, they are quite extreme, yes. We are only at the beginning phase of this ramping up of the energies, but understand that it is just the ocean. It is always the same to the ocean. The waves come up, the waves go down, the waves come up, the waves come down. But underneath there is peace. Underneath there is depth of amazing peace, of just complete relaxation. So sometimes when the waves are going really, really high, sometimes you can just hold your breath go under the waves and just feel all that peace that's actually really there. And that know that all of this stuff that's happening on the surface is just on the surface. That nothing has changed. This peace that is the energy of source, which is you, is always there underneath everything. It underlies everything. And that everything that you're seeing now is a playing out of stories, of narratives, of movies, to help you to open yourself up, to understand that you are not the waves above, but you are the peace below. And that's what this is there to show you, to enable you to understand that. And so in these times that we're in, the waves are much, much higher than before, because you are much, much more advanced than you were in your other incarnations, in the other galaxies that you are from, and the other planets that you came from. You are very, very advanced. You are some of the most advanced creatures at this moment in your universe, because you have come down here in this time to experience these very, very extreme waves that go up and down, and that seem to polarize all of you into two different places. But you are here, and you are very advanced, and you are able to see that there is no reason to be polarized, because you are all one. You are all connected. How can you be polarized if you're one? And this is so using your body's eyes to see these waves, and then using your inner eye to understand that you're at peace, and being able to exist in both of those worlds at the same time is a very, very advanced lesson, and you are very, very advanced beings. And so we are amazed at how wonderfully you are navigating these energies and understanding how these waves work. We are Tiamat, and we send you much love. Okay, and the next thing I wanted to talk about was Bach. A little personal story. When I was about 14, I was practicing the piano, and at the time I think I wanted to become, like, my dream I think was to become a professional pianist, and so I would practice crazy hours, and I would never do any homework, and I would just come home after school and practice for 4 hours or something. And so one day I was practicing, and then I fell asleep on the piano bench, and in my dream, I was composing music like Bach's music, and it was really, so I was composing music like Bach's music, and I took that as a prophecy, and so that's when I started realizing that I wanted to become a composer, and so that was the dream that started it. And I love Bach's music, and I've always loved Bach's music. It's so mysterious, and it's so perfect. In so many different ways, and sometimes it's also really, really intellectual, and sometimes sublime. It's just, I don't know how he did that. I mean, I know theoretically how he did it, but just how he was able to come up with this amazing music. And every single piece of his, I have yet to find one that's, this was an okay piece of his, so artists that you like. I love that album, but there's a few songs in there that I just, I like that one song. It's like every song is absolutely perfect and amazing and sublime, and how did he do that? And so I started thinking, after hearing a lot about, for example, Shakespeare, there is a theory that he did not write everything that he wrote, that there was someone else that wrote it, and there's also a theory that there were many people that were writing his work. And I thought, that's kind of interesting. So maybe it's possible that, also that Shakespeare was, anyway, I won't go into that. But yeah, so it's possible that a lot of the things in our history that we were taught are not exactly what they were. And so I hear a lot about like different architects and different, for example, Shakespeare and all of these different things, but never really hear much about composers like Bach. And I thought, well, maybe it's possible that there wasn't just one Bach, like it's just like a factory of Bachs. There's just like a whole bunch of people in this one building, and they're all just composing music in his style, like movie composers do now. So right now, like what movie composers do is the composer will just write a sketch on a piece of paper, and then the orchestrators, the people that write it for orchestra, will understand, for example, John Williams from Star Wars. They understand his his style, and so they can write in his style. So they'll just take the melody and make an orchestration based on his style. And so I thought, oh, maybe like Bach was just like the Bach factory. So I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it was just him. Maybe it wasn't. So what I'd like to do is channel and see what comes through. So here we go. I haven't done this before, so see what happens. Greetings, we are that energy that you know as Bach. And what this being has been saying, yes, there are many, many things that are as of yet to be revealed about your history. Many wonderful things, many things that might be a bit shocking for all of you. But know that it is all for your good. And I am Bach, and it's wonderful to be here at this moment, to be here in this room with this being. We have entered this being many times when he is composing. We do a lot of work with him. We are an energy. We are what you might call an archetype. So over this time there has been so much energy given to what I was in my life and what I became after my life, that I have become what you might call as an archetype, something that you humans can draw upon when you are in the process of creation. And you can draw upon this in any process of creation, if you're painting or gardening or anything that you'd like to do. But we do focus on composing, on making music, and we are working with many, many musicians on your planet at the moment, as I was working with this energy when I was alive on your planet. Now what this being says, that there were many of us. We at this moment, we would not like to comment on this. We would like just to say that things sometimes aren't what they seem. And we'll leave it at that at the moment. In your time in history, that is where we will leave it. But as time progresses, things will start to be more and more revealed. But at the moment, that is where we need to stand. But what we would like to discuss is when we were alive, when I was alive as Bach, I was drawing down similar energies from a similar archetype. And so the reason that this being says that all of the music is sublime is not because I was a sublime artist. It was because I had a direct connection with this archetypal energy. I was channeling this music, and that is why I was drawing down energy from a higher dimension into this dimension, and I was able to capture it. So you might say that my only true skill was the ability to capture these melodies in sheet music. I was able to at a very rapid pace to listen and transcribe. So my skills of transcription were very high, is what I would say. It was my true skill. It was not in all of these composing skills. I was drawing down this energy for all of you to use in the future, planting a seed for all of you to use in the future. And you'll notice that after my generation, a lot of the way that I had written music fell by the wayside, and people changed the way that they were writing music, and they stopped. Now, I would not say stopped completely, but they moved more into a more cerebral realm. And so there was the connection that they were drawing down some of the energy, but they were blocking it with some of their cerebral energy so that it was not coming down directly. And this is what I would say happened after my life, and this is why a lot of my music fell on the wayside for a long period of time. But you'll notice that it is back. It is back in your pun intended. It is back in your world. So what we would like to say, though, is we are working with many artists, many composers, and many musicians in how to draw down this energy directly without being without this cerebral energy that you have been programmed to have, without that coming in, as this is not necessary, because all you need to do is draw down the energy. It is there, and that is what you are here to do as musicians and as artists, is to draw down this energy. That is you are drawing down the energy of source, and you are source. So this is not, you might say, what this being thinks a lot about, for example, are copyright and all of these ideas and originality in this concept, but you are all source, and you are all original, and you are all amazing, and so you are just drawing down more of you into yourself, and there's no need to block it with these cerebral blockages, and that the whole concept is just transcribe. You are a transcriber for the voice of God. And all of you who are doing arts are doing the same. You are transcribing the voice of love, which is the voice of God, which is the voice of Source, which is your true voice. We are Bach. All right. So I finally channeled Bach. That was pretty interesting. So again, if you're interested in the membership, please check below. And